Yay.
There's two.
Hey, thanks for everybody's effort.
Yeah. All right.
We're gonna move with the approval of the June minutes. Did everybody have a chance to read them? The June 2020 minutes. Is there any questions, corrections?
I have a syntactic question under 3.1 next to the last button. The last phrase, I'm not sure what you were hoping for there, Sarah.
Let me,
The Kathy volunteered one.
Yes.
Um,
let me
You
let me go ahead and share my screen so everybody can see it as we're talking about it. How about?
Oh, I guess maybe should that just be to review? Was that the intent? I'm sorry.
3.1.
the last bullet.
Next to the last bullet.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So you volunteered to craft a statement for section 2.55, which you did.
Yeah.
Right. And the last part to talk about at the next meeting, we're not talking about the formula to talk about, but just the statement.
Yes.
Oh,
Craft a statement to
assumed
talk
statement.
about at the next meeting.
Okay. Sorry,
I can reword
misread
it so that it's clearer. Do you have a suggestion?
Craft a statement per section about the city working on the formula. It says you're just going to craft a statement.
I guess a comma after formula
Okay.
with to be reviewed at the next meeting.
Sure, sounds good.
Mm-hmm. That clarifies.
All right. Anything else?
I didn't see anything.
Anything else? No.
I didn't see anything.
Right.
Okay. Or Lynn, do you see anything?
No.
Okay.
So I'll move to approve
need a
with the suggested change.
Mm-hmm.
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay. The motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Yeah,
Aye.
anybody opposed? Nobody's opposed, so the motion carries.
Great.
Okay. Now,
We don't get to see you when you share your screen?
You don't.
Oh, okay. Even as speaker, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I can unshare it in between if you prefer, and then we
No.
can look at the documents. you want-
okay.
No, that's okay. I just
Okay.
was surprised that we couldn't see you.
Yeah, because
box.
it's a webinar rather than a meeting.
Oh,
And so I think that's the difference. In a meeting, if you share your screen, there's a little video on the side, right?
mhm.
But in the webinar, there is not.
Okay.
Okay.
Just
So-
FYI, Sarah, I'm guiding Blanca on how to get onto the meeting.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you
I
bet.
see. I see your text message flurrying back and forth. So
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate that. So with everything going on in the world currently, library staff felt like it was important to make a statement. And this statement would be on our website. Both statements would be the anti-racism and the LGBTQIA plus statement.
Mhm.
So this was our first draft, and I wanted to run it by the library board to see your thoughts about creating a statement like this. You know, there could be possible backlash from the community, I suppose. Although the city council did do a resolution specifically on anti-racism, so, and that is in this statement. So I feel like that supports us quite a bit. Do you have any thoughts on the library creating a statement like this and posting it on our website?
I'm thrilled to see the effort and the intention, and I would love to support it being there.
Yeah, I think it's a great support.
I'll be the naysayer,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll wait to hear what Lynn and Dale Scobert think.
I agree with the statement. I understand the hesitancy in putting it website. So I'd be interested in hearing your objection, I guess.
My objection,
It
Dale,
seems-
did you want to chime in? I'm sorry. I apologize. Dale's speaking, but we can't hear him.
I'm thinking his microphone is not working.
Is he
And-
texting you, Heather? Or
Pardon me?
is Dale texting you? Or
No, Blanca.
No,
and
Blanca
Heather.
and I've been trying to get
Oh.
her on the meeting. She should be showing up any moment.
okay.
There she is.
Blanca is here. Her microphone is currently muted as well. So I'm wondering either Dale's internet isn't stable enough for him to have audio, or his microphone is not working.
Well, and he's also muted.
unfortunately. I think he's been muting and unmuting himself, trying to figure it out,
Okay.
because now he's unmuted.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you, dude.
Issues.
Can you do something in the chat? I mean, in the Q&A, Dale Scobert?
Hola, Blanca.
Hola a todas. Hi.
Hi, Blanca.
Dale is having technical difficulties currently, so we're.
Blanca, we're just down the agenda talking about the racism policy. Are you up to, that's where we're at.
So it's
Okay.
not a policy, it's a statement.
Or
Mhm,
statement,
mhm.
sorry.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, he's talking, you can't hear. Sorry.
Can you get into the Q&A, Dale Scobert? Oh,
No.
bummer.
Mm.
Mm.
Sarah, I can't do anything on the question and answer either. Just trying right now.
Mm.
Mine, when I open it, says you have no open questions.
Right, but it does, if you go to
Right.
type in there, there's no,
Yeah.
there's
There's
no
no, there's
option.
no place to write a question.
No,
Yeah.
it's all
Okay.
grayed out.
Mm.
Darn it.
Can Dale hear us?
I think he can.
Now it looks like he can.
So maybe,
He says it still shows him as watching the meeting.
Yeah.
There he is.
But
Yes, he's
let me-
watching
let
the
me-
meeting.
so yes, you can hear. So
He
Dale,
can
can you
hear.
give us a thumbs up, a thumbs down on?
Oh, wait, there is a phone number. There's one call-in listener. I'm not sure.
Huh.
It might be Dale. No. I
The,
wouldn't
the
try
only
that.
thing it looks like I can do is remove that listener. Okay, well, I'm sorry, Dale. If you want to listen to the meeting, feel free to stay on, and you could send me thoughts in email if you had any that I could add to the record for the meeting.
Well, and whoever suggested this, I'd like to see it too. Dale S. If you have a thumbs up, thumbs down in general on the Black Lives Matter racism, anti-racism statement.
Well, I can't see him anymore.
Dale says, I think we fall under the city proclamation, refer to it.
Yeah, that's where I
Yeah.
was going with it.
Yeah.
Is that it's inappropriate for the staff to make a political statement on a specific issue. They are not elected officials. And fortunately, in this case, because the city council has adopted the resolution, the way it could be achieved is, rather than the staff saying that this is a personal statement on their behalf, is to say something to the effect of, in furtherance or to support the city council's resolution on racism, the staff has compiled a bibliography of material on the history in Oregon of race relations, on articles, videos, etc., to support the discussion and further education and development of this, I don't know, furtherance of this policy, something along those lines. It was always my impression that the library had to remain politically neutral, that was one of the requirements, and that the library could promote what the city council decided to do politically, but on its own, it couldn't make a political judgment or a political stand. And what I would put to you is, what if someone asked you to make a statement in furtherance of some other political topic? You wouldn't say that you were in favor of something that either the Republican Party or the Democratic Party had adopted. And effectively, by saying that will align with the policy demands of the movement for Black lives, that's picking a specific point of view and perspective, but the city has already given you one that you can work with.
So I would say, Kathy, that libraries over the last 10 years have really changed their perspective. And that's why I put those links to ALA and PLA in there, where they're taking a stand on these issues, to show that we are taking a stand with ALA and PLA on these issues. I understand what you're saying, but libraries, in terms of human rights issues, are no longer neutral, because currently being neutral means against. And so if you're not for those human rights issues, ultimately you are against them.
I would disagree with that. I would disagree with that. What the libraries have always done is enforce the Constitution, the laws of the states, and hopefully the good policies of their particular municipalities.
Did you look at those links that I put in there?
No, I did not.
Let me share my screen again so that we can talk about it further. So let's see here. I need to. Okay, I have to stop sharing my screen so I can go to a different screen. How do I open? Let me try this. Okay, I'm gonna open the link in a new tab.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably need a new tab, right?
And my computer is being very slow. So the city manager, when I asked him, here we go, about doing this, he was all for it. He didn't see any conflict of interest with what the city council was doing and if the library had a statement. So there is a library that we based this idea on, and it's Prince George's, I think, library on the East Coast.
Mhm.
And that's where Ibram X. Kendi lives, who's the author of, oh gosh, the name of the book is escaping
I
me.
think
How to
it's
be an
how to be an,
anti-racist.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is in ALA's issues and advocacy area and equity, diversity, and inclusion. And so I mean, they have a plan for action. They have, it's an extensive support for libraries ultimately.
Does it state that it's the organization or that it's the staff of the organization?
It's, well, let's see. I mean, it's American Library Association. The librarian profession suffers from a persistent lack of racial and ethnic diversity. I mean, it's probably written from the point of view of the American Library Association.
Yeah.
I started our statement with, you know, the staff stand with ALA because I felt like that was a stronger statement, but we could certainly change how we began the statement if that is your concern.
Listen, I applaud the staff for caring deeply. But I think it potentially puts them in a difficult situation. And I think it's better to speak as this institution than the individuals.
So are you suggesting, Kathy, then to say something, the library stands in support or with?
Remove
That to me would be better.
Mhm.
So Dale says he's playing devil's advocate. He says then he wants a statement that blue lives matter.
Yeah. That's the position you're putting yourself in. The fact that you have the resolution from the city fully would permit you to stand in solidarity with it and in support of it and in furtherance of it in your educational role and as compilers of information that would be relevant to the reader to further. The same is true of the LGBTQIA, but that gets longer and longer.
It really does.
Although I thought the way that statement was written was more collaborative. The anti-racism one has a preachiness to it that I think is dangerous. But I think you can rewrite it and achieve what you're hoping to achieve.
That makes some sense to me, Kathy, that we would do it in furtherance of the city council's resolution and then supply I mean, our main goal is education.
Right.
And that's why we wanted to make this statement to begin with, right? And that's why we're going to have all of those resources at the bottom that you can click on and get further reading and those kinds of things. So
how about using the word, the verb support somewhere, Sarah, in that, you know, to well, reinforce is not the right word I'm looking for, but, you know, the library with its purpose, mission. I mean, of course, we support the statement that the city council has made, but with what our job is as the library to educate, inform, inspire, it is up to us to say, I think it's up to us to say, and here's how we can do that by helping you, community members, patrons, etc., with these resources.
So if I were to couch the statement differently and, you know, say in furtherance of the city council's resolution on anti-racism, you know,
You could even quote part of it.
Right. Could we leave I have the resolution in there as a link, but could we leave the piece about PLA's call to action for public library workers? Because I feel like that's important as well, to show what the library is going to try to do. Or do you feel like that is outside the bounds of this statement if I were to couch it in terms of the city council's resolution?
I would say to you, as again, sort of as Dale was saying, the devil's advocate, that you should stay within the bounds of the city council resolution, which was very broad. It was a very generous statement, at least if I'm remembering it from when I read it last. But that's me, so.
But wouldn't we also be doing that? I mean, if we were, I mean, in what Dale Scobert's saying, if someone were to come to us and say, so what can you help us educate with Blue Lives Matter, i.e. law enforcement? We would have the same, we could draft a similar collection of resources to offer that person or the community.
Right, but it would be more neutral. It would be in an educational, it would be an educational compilation. What is presented in this statement is way beyond that.
I find that I
It's
agree
taking a
with
stand, for
with
sure.
Kathy
And that was our
there.
intent.
I mean, it is a very strong statement, and while we may all agree with it, it's like, is it the library's role? I'm going to pull out some language. You know, we share the nation's anger, etc. Yes, we do personally. Is it the role of the library as the organization to be making that, rather than here's the city's counties, the city's resolution, and I can't make the link work, by the way, to read the resolution, but you know, and dedicating ourselves to supporting that policy and providing all of the resources, you know, for education around that. When I read the PLA's call to action for public library workers, some of it it makes sense to me, and I don't really have a problem with it. I have to tell you, however, in the back of my head is a voice that goes, we're talking Sandy, Oregon here, not the most diverse place in a non-diverse state. And some of the language, like, if you believe in the inherent value of human lives, then you believe Black Lives Matter. I'm not sure that that's a challenging statement, rather than beginning with, we invite you to join us in broadening your understanding of the deep-rooted racism, etc. And frankly, particularly in the state of Oregon. So I'm sort of with Kathy a little bit on this, that it seems like a step too far. somehow for the library for me, but with modifications, it would be perfect.
I have a general question, and Kathy, you said that it's not the library's position or job to, and I forget exactly how you worded it, so forgive me, but basically to be making a political statement. I mean, somewhere you use political.
I did.
Okay, and so
Yeah.
I need some help on why political versus a human rights issue, again, following the Constitution of, equality, liberty, justice for all, et cetera, et cetera.
That statement that you just made is very different than that statement. If you believe in the inherent value of human rights, then you believe that Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
That is preaching, that is judgmental, that is a position.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's a question of language. It's not that the intent is bad. It is the manner in which it is to be communicated, and whether it is institutional or specific to the staff, and whether it is in furtherance of the city council position or beyond that. So it's a question of weighing all those things
Okay.
to come out with a productive, inspirational, positive message that achieves the education that you're trying to inspire.
Those are good points. I mean, you start here and then Blue Lives Matter, then you just keep going and going and going. Yeah. Adding on more statements to address every individual group.
Which is not to say that you couldn't have, as we, has been very common in libraries, effectively a current events page, right? If you're interested in the events that are occurring, here we give you the following links, the following books to read, following podcasts to listen to. This can be more than that because of the city council resolution, but it is of that nature.
Right.
That's your educational point. Yeah.
So if I were to redraft the statement, coming from the city council's resolution and then offering the educational resources and send it out by email, do you think we can have that discussion by email and come up with a finished product? Because I really want the library board to be behind this, because we could still get a challenge from the public, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Probably more likely than not.
Yes.
Yeah. But
I'm thinking the LGBTQIA statement is more likely to get a challenge from the public. We see, we had the rainbow paper in the windows in Gay Pride Month, and we had a challenge for that. And we have a poster in the teen room that says this is a safe and welcoming space for gays, lesbians, transgenders, and we've had a challenge to that poster as well. So I'm thinking the LGBTQIA statement is more likely to get a challenge, but I think the anti-racist statement could get a challenge as well.
Is there any
Just
chance
vote
you can get a
unite.
resolution out of the city council on this subject? Or is that dubious?
I think it's dubious.
Okay.
I mean, I think it would be best to ask during Gay Pride Month, probably, for something like that anyway, and that's already passed. Dale says he feels like we're in dangerous territory where I provide a reason for a challenge which we have to defend. Personally, I feel like it's important to provide the educational materials to the public in a way that is easy to access. I mean, all of these materials are, of course, in the library or available on YouTube as videos, but I don't know that people would necessarily go to seek them out. But if they were to see this statement with the resources, they might think, oh, I should watch a few of these videos and see what this is about, or, you know, read one of these books. I don't know.
I agree with that, Sarah.
Yeah.
I mean, put the plate right in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you put this on the webpage? How did you envision presenting?
I envision our webpage as a totally different. And we are currently migrating from our current, we will be migrating from our current web provider to a new one. So we should have more options for what we can do with our page and how it would look. I would probably have it on the main page. And let me pull up and Prince's library if I can and share the screen with you. Theirs are on their main page. Depends on how long it takes for me to search and get it to come up here. All right, so that you can get an idea, their statement is super ultra long, which we were trying to avoid, because after a while you lose people, even a librarian. I was like, okay, I get the point. I'm done with this statement. So let me, it's coming up currently.
Blanca, I want to hear how you feel. Do you have any insights from your world on this?
Well, trust me, it's hard to say something. And I don't know. I mean, I think that you guys are trying to do your best, and I really appreciate all of that. But it's, I don't know. I just don't. All I can say is that thank you for all that you guys are trying to do or trying to help the community without hurting one side or the other. And create that, because that's one of the most important things, that you guys don't just like Sarah is trying to write down something and you all trying to help her out just to make this because a lot of people might read these things and they can either take it the right or the wrong way, and you guys are all working together to give them the right idea and not something else, like, yeah.
Good.
So do you feel that are wanting to make it less kind of challenging is watering it down, watering our position down?
What do you mean?
Like backing up, as opposed to taking a solid stand and making a statement, more, I guess, cushioning it, or making it softer and maybe not as declarative. Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, like like I said, sometimes we don't even want to touch or talk about these things, but I think now this is getting a lot bigger. Everybody's talking more about this, and then the library. I never thought that they were gonna have these kind of issues with races, and then the LGBT things and all of that, and then I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit hard for you guys, or the library, because it's like a public thing, to talk about this. But we have to do it. Like Sarah is saying, we have to talk about it. Like it's gonna be, like she said, it's a little bit hard to be neutral on that, because not a lot of people is gonna agree, or if you guys used to say or support these things back then or not, and then now you guys are doing it, a lot of people are not gonna be happy with it, and some of us will be happy, but it's hard. I don't know if I answered your question or.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble with
that, because I want you know, I want to hear your voice in this.
Yeah, thank you. I know I'm just so quiet because I'm listening to all of you talking and then saying this. And like I said, I mean, I really appreciate all because you're trying to make it so, how do you say, like, so people can understand in a good way, you know, and that's good. Because if you guys wouldn't care, I mean, one person is going to write this down, maybe it's not going to be the good way. And then a lot of people is going to get mad because you guys just didn't take your time to make this better or express this the better way.
Yeah. And I worry that if it is too confrontational, back to Kathleen's point, you just turn people off. And so instead of hearing Black Lives Matter, you get the whataboutism of Blue Lives Matter, all lives matter, which is sort of missing the point. And so you don't want to get that knee-jerk reaction. You want to say, some of which is in the statement, you know, we understand the history of racism in support of the city resolution. And the piece you have in there about we need to educate ourselves. All people need to educate themselves on this issue. And here are the resources to do it. That feels entirely appropriate to me within the library context, and is also inviting people in so that you don't get that just knee-jerk reaction, which we've all heard and seen, and the rest of that, which doesn't help. You want people to say, come educate yourself. Did you know this? You know? And honestly, the history of the state of Oregon would be a great place to start, which is entirely appropriate again within you know, what's gone on. And I personally have learned a lot about the history of the state of Oregon as an immigrant, and I have had discussions, let's say, with native Oregonians who assure me that Oregon is just fine, and at least we live on the West Coast and it's not the Deep South. And I point out to them what I have learned, and it's a revelation to all of us. So, I mean, there are lots of opportunities for bringing people in so that their understanding is broadened. And you never do that if you set them up against a wall. Tempting though it often is.
I have a question, Sarah. Right now that you guys said something about Blue Lives Matter, is that I don't like. I know Black Lives Matter. I mean the meaning, but Blue Lives. What is that like? Only does that mean only white people or
it's
police?
It's the police.
Police lives matter.
Police.
Police.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
And Dale was the police chief in Sandy, so you know he's obviously, and I mean, there's no reason that supporting Black Lives Matter and supporting Blue Lives Matter have to be on opposite sides.
Right.
But he was pointing out that, you know, that could get us into a difficult position.
Yes.
Well, and I just want to say that the best thing that I read, and I also agree with the retort to the back and the forth, is saying, well, why Black Lives Matter? You know, all lives matter. And it's like, the point is, the conversation is now about Black lives. It's not that we're excluding a conversation or inclusion of all lives. It's that we're now talking about Black lives, and that's you know, that's where we're at.
Well, again, the library has such a role in providing resources and guiding folks, we hope, in the direction of critical thinking. And the All Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter, and excuse me, Dale, are sometimes used as ways of stopping the discussion on what are the issues with Black lives. And of course, all lives matter. Of course, blue lives matter. But as a poster I saw said, but Black lives are in danger. So we don't want to be, as the library, part of that, again, that sort of challenging, and to Kathleen's point, the sort of politicization of it. It is a human rights issue, and it is an educational issue, and it is the role of the library to say, educate yourselves, everyone. Here are resources for you. You know, the Facebook page, as I follow it from the library, has been doing wonderful jobs of just offering resources and different, you know, different perspectives and places you can go without making an overt political statement. It's just, here's something that you can read. So if the statement was more in that realm, yeah, if people want to challenge the notion of educate yourself, then go ahead. You know?
You can, yeah.
But
Dale agrees with
that's
it.
really
I think,
what you're saying, you know. And although our hearts may be with the look, this is what's going on, and we wholly support it, it really, I'm going to go back to Kathleen again. It really is about this is the role of the library, that education, that resource for everyone. But yes, we stand on these things, and the city has made a resolution. It's part. I don't have a problem with the PLA and the ALA. You know, these are the things. This is what we believe as organizations, and we as a library also stand behind this.
All right, let me work on the statement a little bit and send it out by email to get comments, and then we'll see if we need to meet again to discuss it.
Yeah.
For a finished product. I think these are some really good thoughts. Thank you for helping me think it through a little bit more.
And I think just one other thing too is that let's not delude ourselves just by virtue of the fact that our document will have BLM in it. You can bet your patooties that there's going to be backlash.
Well, she already has had it. Yeah.
All right, so I did manage to find and pull up this. I can pull up the screen just to show it to you real quick. This is the bottom of Prince George's Library's page. So, and I think they probably had the LGBTQIA statement up there for Pride Month because it is now not in one of these four groups. So that might make some sense as well, to think about it for next year Pride Month or something like that. But then there is I can't click on it because I've shared my screen with you. This is so
for the
crazy.
learn more.
But there, oh, maybe it will. You can see that, right?
Yep.
And it goes on and on and on and on and on.
Oh.
And on.
Yeah.
Which is why I wanted to click here for a full list, right? Because theirs is quite extensive.
Where is
My internet connection
Prince
says
George
it's
County?
unstable.
It's in Maryland, immediately south of Washington, D.C.
Okay.
It's in Maryland.
Yeah. And that is important based on the demographics.
Huge.
Is why I was asking.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
It actually was a notorious county for a long time.
Yeah.
So you'll do a rewrite?
So we've got a plan for the, I'm gonna rewrite it and send it out by email to you guys for comments. We'll see if we can get it to be more focused on the educational piece. So we'll see what you think of it when I rewrite it.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of the LGBTQIA statement? I was thinking of them side by side because I see them as both human rights issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I could see waiting until Pride Month to release it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, but I also want to ask why. Why wait?
So we don't have to, for sure. I mean, we could even refer to, I guess Pride Month wasn't really recently. It was April, right? No,
June.
yeah, it was April.
Oh,
June.
not too long ago.
June?
Pride
Okay.
Month is June.
That's not too late.
Mm-hmm.
And it also
Okay.
has been an issue in the BLM movement, you know, with the
I don't know,
trans
what do you,
community has been a huge motivator in this
mhm.
movement.
Mm-hmm.
I frankly thought that the way this statement was
Mhm.
written was far more pleasing,
Yeah, it's not.
much more inviting,
Mhm.
affirmative.
Did you have an issue with
Even though
this
it comes from the
statement
point of
also
view of the
begins with
staff, Kathy?
Yeah, I don't think it should be the staff. I think it should be that the libraries celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It should be viewed as an institutional commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So just start the statement with the Sandy and Hoodland Public Libraries celebrate and take pride in meeting the information needs.
Mm-hmm.
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 Okay. It's interesting. I had two different people write the base statements for these. So, and that might show their level of experience and my inability to edit it well enough. So we'll see. Anyway.
Can I?
The person that did the LGBT to
Did
take
you
a
have any
stab
other
at the other
thoughts
one.
about this statement?
Can I just ask, what is the IA that has now been added?
Yeah.
I stands for inquiring, and A stands for asexual.
Asexual.
I stands for what? Inquire?
Inquiring.
Yeah.
Oh, thinking about it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As
Yeah.
in not definitively.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's getting very difficult for some of us to keep up, is all I'm saying.
So, any further thoughts about the statement itself?
We're good.
Okay.
Mhm.
So do you feel like we should release both statements at the same time?
Sure.
Why
I
not?
don't.
I would do it concurrent.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's one syntax thing, Sarah. I know this isn't final, but the
Mhm.
first bullet point at the very bottom,
Mm-hmm.
no apostrophe and the video is embedded.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And is the
Okay.
link at the bottom different than the full reading list referred at the end of each bullet?
The link at the bottom. Oh, that was just, Rebecca was coming up with the lists. So we're going to split them up into the different groups and things like
Okay.
that. So that
Oh,
was just
okay.
Okay.
a selection of the reading things we were thinking of.
Mhm.
Okay.
And that statement would not be there.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. You want to go on to the progress report?
Yeah. So I updated these with the information you gave me last time. Let me see where the first one is. I think it is 2.55. Well, no, it was 2.42. This was where Kathy suggested that we make a statement that all rent expenditures are for the Hoodland Library. So I added the city of Sandy took over management of the Hoodland Library in 2009 without a permanent building. Hoodland Library was allocated $250,000 as part of the IGA with Clackamas County, which was enough to remodel an existing leased space. All rent expenditures are for the Hoodland Library.
Okay. 2 clarifications on that concept there, that we add in City of Sandy took over management of the Hoodland Library in 2009 without the county having provided a permanent building.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then the $250,000 wasn't actually spent on what was then the existing lease space. We found new space, and then the money was used in the new space. The old space was
Right.
next to the liquor store, which was horrible.
Right.
Right.
And I was over that project. So, how did you want
Just to say, to remodel
Oh.
a leased
A new
space.
space.
a new leased space?
Yeah.
Or something like that?
rather
Okay.
than
Okay. Okay. Wow.
Okay. Great.
And then, I don't know why I didn't notice this the first time, and I apologize. The debt service is not on 800,000. The yearly debt service, how do I say this? The principal amount is $800,000, and the debt service began
Yeah.
in 2012.
Okay.
It's just,
yeah, it's just how it was stated.
yeah, sorry about that.
Nope.
Should have caught that last time.
Thank you for catching it this time. Okay.
And there's the duplicate in that first sentence right prior to 2012. Sandy Building started in, scratch the second.
Oh, yeah. All right. Anything else? All right. So here's 2.55, and I think I just took Kathy's language that she had sent out to all of us and put it in there.
You just have a typo, contributes on the last line.
Yep.
Mm.
So 2.55. All right.
And just for reading purposes, Sarah, the first line, at the urging of the, as well as the other city departments, comma, City of Sandy administration.
Sure.
And then I would also put a period at the end of department, the end of the third line, and then start a new sentence with, in the library's case, the requirements of ballot measure, blah, blah, blah.
The overhead of each department, period. Is that what you're suggesting?
Overhead burden of each department, period.
Okay.
Scratch the and. In the library's case, comma, the requirements of ballot measure 3-310 and the IGA with Clackamas County, comma, the city may also in future, and then forget that comma, identify debt reimbursement.
No.
City
That's
House.
not the, those two are not tied. What we'd have to say is in the library's case, the requirements of ballot measure 3310 and the IGA with Clackamas County will also be addressed.
Yes. Yeah.
And then period. And the city may also in the future identify debt reimbursement in a line item. Because those are separate concerns, Heather.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. And then, so I'll change that in both reports.
Right.
And then I did add, so the friends stayed the same, but I did add the program information in each year
Right.
that you wanted me to add. So both of the statements are the same, and I just updated the numbers. So the Sandy and Hoodland Public Libraries held 716 programs in 2017-2018 with a total attendance of 16,861. These programs break out as follows: 432 programs for children with an attendance of 9,344, 125 programs for teens with an attendance of 2,723, 159 programs for adults with an attendance of 4,794.
Great.
That's a great addition.
Yeah, good. I'm really glad that got in there.
Yeah.
Great. Any further thoughts about anything we've discussed that anybody has had come to mind before
I'm
I?
a
No. Oh,
Okay.
question.
Okay.
On the 2018-2019 report,
Mhm.
the starting balance issue has not been resolved.
Yeah. First of all, I need to get Catherine to update the formula so that it works out correctly. And Tyler and I have not resolved how we want to handle
Okay.
it.
So that's to be determined at a later date.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
No,
Okay.
that's fine. Thank you for bringing it up. So I just want to let you know that we are talking about doing more virtual programming. We have a coffee house musician for September who is going to come to the library, and we're going to live stream the coffee house from the library. Boring Brewing has offered, they have a TV in their area that they could live stream it from, and they're offering a discount on a beer and a cider, it sounds like. I think it's a Crowler maybe that they're offering the discount on. We're talking about getting like Tollgate involved in treats that people could swing by and pick up, and Mountain Mocha for coffee. So we're gonna test the waters and see how that goes for the coffee house. And then Susie Jenkins is working with Chris Lamar, who's in the Master Gardener group, and we are going to start doing some Zoom programs for the Master Gardening piece.
Great.
And we're exploring some other ideas as well. So any thoughts on how you feel Library Coffee House will go as a live stream? We're going to ask him if we can record it and maybe even just post it on Facebook for a week to see how many views it gets and things like that, to see if people are interested in seeing live music recorded in the library. You know, we asked him if he could come to the library, and he was like, oh, sure, you know, because we want people to be able to see the inside of the library, because a lot of people are saying that they miss being in the library, they missed seeing the inside of the library, and so we really wanted to hold it where it's normally held.
Yeah, I think that's cool. That creates that consistency, that feeling of consistency. What so live stream, what platform are you going to use to live stream?
Either Facebook Live or, I mean, I think we can seamlessly do it through YouTube. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to happen, to be honest. Thea just asked me a question today about it, and I was like, I guess I need to do some more research about how all these platforms work together. But it will either be Facebook Live or YouTube, most likely.
Okay. I think it's a great idea. One thing I can tell you is that I mean, it's wonderful. And there's a lot of live streaming music happening because, you know, obviously this is people's livelihood.
Yeah.
And I would, I don't know if you have this in the hopper for our coffee house or not, but I would definitely figure out, I mean, if you can set up like a Venmo account or a PayPal account or something that people can the friends could maybe set it up, you know, since they're the 501c3, and that's the virtual tip jar. So that people could be donating to the friends to go towards programming.
We thought about setting up a virtual tip jar for the artist because generally they have a tip jar on site that people throw money into. But we could certainly set one up for the friends as well. It's an interesting thought. So we'll see if we can pull it together for September. It will be the first Friday in September, so coming up quick.
No kidding. Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it. Does anybody have any questions?
I do about programming. I mean, what's our, I mean, what are the coffers of the friends looking like, Dale? Because there are no books being purchased.
Yeah.
A matter of fact, it's not looking very prosperous at this point.
Right.
So
yeah, Jack emailed me. I finally caught up and sent him I balanced our numbers and sent him the request for checks and things like that. And he was like, okay, that's all we can do for now. So the friends currently aren't able to provide any additional support. So any programming will currently come out of the library budget. So we need to try to make it have an impact, right? Because our budget's not currently looking really great since we're not taking in fines and fees. You know, I'm looking and we could be down about $20,000 in fines and fees, which means we need to make that money up elsewhere. So yeah, it's a little dicey. I'm currently diving deep into the budget to figure out how much money I think we have available for programming. I don't think it's a huge amount, but we do want to test some things out. Katie Murphy was also working on a program with the Stand Up Sandy group that would be probably watching documentaries or movies and having a discussion after. So we may have some cost there as well. But we feel like that is an important educational piece again, right, for the community. So we have a few things in the works. All of the Master Gardener programs are free, which is a nice bonus for those. So, you know, Susie feels comfortable working on those, and she'll probably work on other free programs for adults as well that we can come up with. We're working on the idea of an indie author day, but it would probably be the month of November, which is also NaNoWriMo, which is a writing group that encourages you to write a certain number of words a day. And at the end of the month, you have this base novel. So we're considering that for the month of November, and maybe getting a few local authors to talk about their writing. on video and take questions and things like that. So we're working on some hopefully free programming that we can put together, as well as a few paid programs to test the waters and see how they go.
So that leads me to then another question, which is for both Dale and you, Sarah. What's being considered or in the works as far as putting out the call to people to educate our patrons through the newsletter, through articles in the Post, what have you, perhaps a request letter? I mean, people need to know, I mean, kind of put the dots together that our funding is, very compromised, as is the Friends.
Mm-hmm.
So what's on the plan to, if people don't know, they can't, well, wait, why come we don't have any programs? We know we can't come to the library, but how come there's not this? Couldn't we do this? It's like, well, does that make sense? I mean, if they don't know that we're, we can use, and Friends can use contributions, it's keeping them out of the loop. I think it's important.
True.
I think it's important messaging.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I'll try and bring it up. I'll try and bring it up with some members of the board and see what
Okay.
the thoughts are.
Yeah.
I mean, the economy as a whole is not doing well. Businesses aren't doing well. I mean, I think everybody, I would guess most people don't put that together with the government. And a lot of people don't even realize that the library is part of the city government.
Right.
So I would think from the city perspective, I would have to have the city make a statement about the city budget. And we don't really know the total effects on the city budget currently. I mean, we know that we're likely to see fewer taxes, not necessarily even property taxes, but all of the gas taxes and liquor taxes and all those things that get shared throughout the state, right?
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be easier for the Friends to say, with the library closed, we're not currently selling books. If you want to donate so that the library can continue to do their programming somehow.
I said I'll bring it up with some of the board
Yeah.
members, and I'll get back to you, Sarah, next week or late.
That sounds great. Thank you, Dale. It's a good thought, Heather.
And, I hear what you're saying, Sarah, about, the economy's, suffering, individuals are suffering, businesses. Yes, 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 yes. And there's a whole lot that I'm seeing at the grassroots. In fact, this one woman that I got turned on to last evening, and she is, through her followers on social media, she is doing, they, followers, etc., all together. She put out the call for her followers to, just Venmo me 50 cents or $1 or whatever you can. And her whole point or project, if you will, is to tip, basically, pay it forward to a stranger. She has focused a lot on restaurant workers, delivery, folks that are doing huge schedules, etc. And it's amazing what's happening. I mean, it's, people literally are doing like 50-cent donations. And she takes a video of when she and her husband go out to a restaurant, and, they say, you've been so great, you let us come in, it's quiet in the restaurant, etc. And, they're paying out $1,000 cash tip.
Mhm.
I mean, you know, over and over and over again.
Wow.
And she's saying, you know, this isn't me, you know, this is everybody wanting to pay it forward, wanting to do good and to, you know, brighten a stranger's day, you know, making those connections. So I just caution against diving into everybody's wallets and saying nobody has any money to do anything.
Right. That's a great story.
Yeah, nice.
It's awesome. It's
Mhm.
yeah, Lexi Burke, LEXYBURKE, on Instagram, and then TikTok was where she originally had this idea. She calls it the Venmo Challenge, and then other people are copying the idea in
Mhm.
their own areas.
Mhm. That's
Good.
great.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Okay. Are we ready to adjourn? Yes?
Yep.
Okay. Very
All
good.
right.
We're adjourned.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. I totally appreciate it. Thank you, Dale, for sticking in there, even though you couldn't speak. Hopefully, I got most of your thoughts across to people. I know I missed a few, but I tried. Anyway, have a great evening, and I will be emailing you a revised statement probably within the next week or so.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.